welcome to Buster Uncovered. Hey, a new episode 5. What's up, Buster?
I don't know it, man. How you been doing?
Man, I'm doing great, man. A little snowy action over here in Missouri.
We
Snow,
got
ice,
all
we got it all.
we got all ice. We didn't get a bit of snow, all ice, dude. I missed you guys last week. Now I miss Mike. Where's Mike at?
Man, I think Mike is stuck on a plane somewhere, man. He's headed out to Las Vegas to cover the NFL Pro Bowl for us, man.
Yeah, that's bullshit. He's out there partying like a damn animal. You know
He,
he is.
he gets the good assignments while you and
There
I are
you go.
stuck in the fucking snow.
Yeah, man. I'm iced in right now. Been iced in for 2 days now.
Man, I haven't left the house till a while ago since Sunday, man. Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, stuck in the house.
I hear
And
you,
three
dude.
quarters of the day, Wednesday.
Looks like we're gonna have a good show today, man.
Man, I hope so. So last week we took the week off. My
Yeah.
brother, uh, me and him was hanging out, so we decided to call in sick, and now
Ain't
we're
nothing wrong with
back.
that. Ain't nothing wrong with that, man. Ain't nothing wrong with spending time with family, dude, having a good time.
That's right, man. What you got on your mind tonight, Buster?
Dude, I want to talk wrestling. So let me ask you something. I know we got a guest, but do we kind of get a little bit of the wrestling news out of the way, or do we bring our guest on and then all talk about the news, get everybody's opinion? What
I
do you want
say
to
we get
do?
the wrestling news out of the way and bring our very special guests onto the scene, and then if he's got any feedback on it, he's good at talking shit, so he'll be all right with that.
All right, man. Well, I think probably the biggest news around our part of the country and our territory is you got RWE leaving Grubs. I mean,
Sad situation, man.
I know you had to hear about it.
I don't think they're going to leave Grubs. They're actually looking for another building, but they have lost that building, and from my understanding, the city of Grubs pretty well shit on them.
Well, that's kind of what I've seen. I've tried to find out as much as I could, but from what I can understand, I don't know if it was totally unexpected that with the city doing what they did, or did they kind of know it was coming? I don't really know. I did see they got their show up, and I watched it from last. I hadn't finished it all, but I watched about half of it so far. It's like 4.5 hours long, but you could expect that with this kind of night. But Joey said that they were probably looking to move to Newport.
Oh, okay. There
He
you
also,
go. He's the
he,
boss, man.
he also said they wasn't looking to lease or rent; they were looking to buy this time. So,
There
so
you
this
go.
wouldn't happen again, you know.
Understand that, man. You pour that money into that town, and then they shit on you like that, man. I don't blame you for getting the hell out of Dodge.
Well, I didn't even know what the population of Grub was, and I told my old lady, I said, Google Grubs, Arkansas, 342 people.
Damn, that's all.
That's all, dude.
I've never been
It
there.
surprised me that they ever went there really in the first place with a town that small. I could have seen if it had been 1,000 people, I could see that, but 342,
In a
I would,
weekly show.
in a weekly show, but I'd be willing to bet Joey probably got a damn good deal on that building when he got it. I would say he'd have to. It'd been sitting there empty, not making no money. I mean, I would think that he probably got a pretty sweet deal on the building. Hopefully he did anyway. I mean, obviously they apparently signed a 3-year lease with him when they done it, or I guess they could have renewed it every year. But
Well, from my understanding, is they didn't renew the lease, so I guess they had her at least from year to year.
well, see, I read where the lease was up in the 31st of December of 2022. And if I'm Joey, I'd already been down there probably at least by the 1st of December, probably before that, trying to find out, hey, it's time to renew this lease is coming up. You know what I mean? So that makes me wonder, did he have any clue that maybe this was coming? Say you went down there and you tried to talk, you went down to talk to them about it and say they put you off. Maybe done at a time or two. Obviously, if they do that in the back of your head, you got to start thinking, oh shit, maybe something's up.
That's
Maybe
right.
we won't be here. Or did it just come out of the blue like it seemed to have? You
Guess
know,
we need to get with Joey and bring Joey on, and so we can get the scoop.
I think that'd be a great idea, dude. I think that would be
RW
awesome.
Scoop. Any other
All right.
wrestling news going around?
Well, obviously, got to give it up to Britt Michaels. He's back to being the Memphis Heritage Champion. What is it, his second time?
Second time.
Second time.
Two
So
time.
you got to...
Two time.
Two time. That's right. You
Not
got to
only
give it up
two
to
time.
him. You know, like I said, I like the dude. I like him, the whole package of him. He's, like I said, to me, he's kind of like our version, our Lex Luger. Our guys don't normally look like him. They're not, and it ain't like he's a little guy who's ripped up and built good. He's a big guy. You know, he's a big guy. He's built fucking good. He's ripped. You know, I think there ought to be a lot of the companies around the territory ought to be bringing him in for attractions. You know, as an attraction. I mean, there's a lot you could do with him. Another dude.
Premier Pro brought him in.
No, he didn't. Something happened and he couldn't make it.
Oh, okay. I know he was scheduled.
And but something happened there, I guess, and he couldn't make it. Another guy I want to talk about is Mark Southern. Made his big debut, baby. Man.
That's right.
I mean, you held out to your boys. I don't know. Mike might have known. I didn't know. I mean, I knew you had something up your sleeve because you've been down there, but, you know, how was it?
Surprises are always best, aren't they?
I'll be honest with you. I thought this last show, so far is the best complete show they've had to date. I still 100% think the ring blows. It sucks. Look, here's something. I was watching it, and my daughter comes in the room, and just for a second, she sits down on the arm of the couch. She looks at it, and she said, "What's wrong with the ring?" And I explained to her, I said, well, it's a low boy ring because they got a low ceiling. So you got to have a shorter ring so the guys can still do all their stuff. Well, she walks off, and she goes, "That's stupid." She said, "It looks stupid." And I told my wife, I said, right there is what any casual fan that's clipping by, when they're just flipping channels and they see wrestling, they see that show in that little ring, that's the first thing they think. It looks stupid. Other than that, I thought the fucking show was the best show they've had to date. The whole show, we got to see more talent. It wasn't strictly focused on just a few guys. You know, like the first 5 or 6 shows was mainly focused on the torture chamber.
First 5 minutes was the best. You had me.
And that's what I'm saying. We got to see a lot more talent. And that's one thing you need on this show. They need to shorten up some of these. All right, Buck Skinner. My opinion, the most unique talent in our fucking whole territory. This fucking dude is primed. He's ready. I see a star there. I see a fucking star. And he's ready to be a giant baby face to Johnny Dotson and Royalty's heel. The match he had with Mike Reels could have been shortened up. It wasn't going to hurt Mike Reels to go out there and bump around for Buck Skinner as big as he is for a minute, 2 minutes, 3 minutes, and then have the boys hit the ring and get on him. You know what I mean?
Yes, sir.
It would not... It would have, matter of fact, to me, it would have helped the storyline. It would have helped Buck Skinner. He's a big fucking dude. He's good in the ring. He's got personality. He's got charisma. He's got a persona. This fucking dude's ready, man. If you don't make him your biggest fucking baby face to Johnny Dotson and Royalty's heel, then you're missing the boat. He's the guy. He's the guy that I promise you, you do him right, everybody in the crowd will be rooting for. And the thing about it, he gets over like that as a babyface. When it comes time to swap him back, he gonna get so much fucking heat then. You know, if they love you, then they really gonna love to hate you.
That's right.
You know.
Hey, let's talk about your special guest here tonight. We got somebody coming into the podcast here. You want to give an introduction there, Buster?
Hey, it's my main man, the baddest little motherfucker in the wrestling business, Hollywood Little. Get his ass on here, man. Let's let the action begin. Hollywood! What's up, brother?
Fellas? What's up, fellas? I appreciate.
I don't know it, dude.
I appreciate y'all having me on y'all show, man. I'm really excited about this, man. Y'all been talking about some good stuff. Just sitting back here chilling, like.
Dude,
Yeah,
we
yeah.
appreciate you for coming on, man. You giving us your time, your stories. We thank you for being on this show, man.
Brother, no, I thank y'all for having me. I mean, me being y'all's guest. I mean,
Hey,
great things happen. Stuff,
you are our
you
first
know.
official guest, Hollywood.
That's right.
Right,
Ah,
right. And I knew that. And I mean, like, granted, things happen, but I was like, man, I was gonna be their first guest. Like, no, that would that meant a lot to me. Y'all was gonna have me as y'all's first guest, because I respect y'all boys. Me and y'all two, we've been on the road working against each other many, 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 many times, And then, I mean, but for y'all to have y'all's first show and then be like, hey, Hollywood, I want, I appreciate it. I really do.
tell
I
us how
really do.
you got in the business, Hollywood. Tell us how you got in the business.
How I got in the business. All right. Well, I've always, just like everybody, I love Memphis wrestling, like Lynch, Russell Day Brown stuff. And then, anyways, when PG-13 came along, I'll make a long story short, when PG-13 came along, boom, I was a teenager, and that was my thing. And so I started going and things, and boom, out of nowhere, I had Mrs. D, which was Danny. And so, boom, and I ended up meeting Dundee, because I knew some people. I was hanging back in the back with the rats and the marks and stuff. But Jamie Dundee's like, look, when you turn 18, kid, I'll get you in the business. Okay? All right, so time went by. Well, I didn't even know nothing about KEW at the time. I swear I did not know nothing about it. And I was working at a club, getting Madamas in Memphis. And what's the dude guy named Bam. He's a big dude. And he's like, well, I want to take you to wrestling with me. Because you know, I want you to talk shit to Jamie Dundee's music. And I'm like, which I knew who it was. That's me. And so we went, but then that's when I ran back into Jamie. And that's when Jamie, I was like, look, hey, I'm 18. I'm 18. I'm like, and he's like, all right, well, then Golden came out. They're going. And he's like, how would you like to come back, next week to have a match, with that little guy? In other words, but I was like, yeah. I even told him, I was like, you ain't got to pay me, brother. I ain't worried about no money, no nothing, which is the wrong thing to do. But, so,
Yeah, you ain't got
we
to pay
did.
me, man.
But yeah, but at the time I didn't care. I wanted to be in the business so bad, and that was my opening. You know what I mean? And boom, and so boom, you put me on your TV, which it didn't wait for TV for a minute, and then that's where I had to go to Motley School, but that's when they kind of smarted me up a little bit. Like, hang on a minute, can't whoop his ass all at once. Like, we gotta wait a little bit, like, because you gotta feed him. And a lot of times that's where I met Motley, Tasha, at the time, and things, and Jeff Dundee's like, hey, I got you in business, kid. And I was so thankful. But that was so cool because they were still doing PG-13 thing, because it was just coming from, they were still like, he didn't do nothing with her from Power Pro, because Power Pro was still going at the time when I first started. And then, so, it started happening. Which they had to smart me up. They wouldn't let me so much at him for a little bit. But my first match, I got through a table. It was whooping. It was.
Welcome.
And Golden's like, kid, you gotta get it. Are you ready? And I'm like, are you? And I'm like, well, But that was him. Are you really ready for it? But at the same time, he was teaching me on TV. You see what I'm saying? And because, I mean, it was all, brick houses and all.
Hey, Wood. Hey, hold on. Hey, brother. Try to get in your phone maybe a little bit. People can't hear you.
All right. Is that a little bit better?
Yeah, well, I think it was just a matter of you moving so much. I move a lot too. There you go. We got you. But I got a text message from some people watching it, and they said they couldn't hear you. So.
All right. Well, I'm sorry. Sorry about that.
No, you got it, brother. Go for it. That's how you get broke into business, though, right there.
Right.
You get thrown right in the fire, thrown through a table, and then you learn afterwards. That's how a lot of people get into business. Some of the best that's ever been in the business get into business that way.
Right. Right. But I was so fortunate, though, because when I was learning still, but I was still on TV, and getting to do, and then that's when, but then that's when I was like, well, okay, Demetrius done these stuff, ran out for a little while, but that's when they put me at the Littles, and then that's when, boom, Golan was like, put me out there, and we did our thing, and it was good, and then that's where we started working with you.
I think it was me and Motley at first.
You, Motley at first, and then it was you and Ron.
Yep.
And y'all would do y'all's thing, but y'all would give me the spots. I mean, even if it was the spots where I was over, or if it was the spots where, y'all, like you and Ron, did those $1 wreck deal, remember, in Blythe, Arkansas.
Yeah, man. Look, if you're gonna be out there, you need to be used somewhere, somehow. That's like you see a lot of managers go out there and they're out there with their guy, but the guys don't really include them in the match. Man, One thing we always tried to do was include everybody. We made sure that Wood had spots, everybody had spots. If Sam was managing us, he had a spot somewhere, at least one. Wood had spots. Everybody had something to do to make the match complete.
Right. And that, all right, that even went back, okay, we'll go in with Mark in it. That's where, DCW ended up with the KW deal and we ended up coming up to Dyersburg and all that. That's where we met y'all and stuff. And then we started having our matches. Like with the Littles with y'all guys, you and Forrest and stuff, and then with the Dazzlers and things like that. But, it was always a good, like how you was just saying, Buster, it was always a good deal because everybody threw everybody in, everybody had their spots, it was boom, 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 and it was good stuff.
Dyersburg, Tennessee is probably one of the best, I don't know, I guess, little secrets in professional wrestling. That town used to draw like crazy. Had a show on Friday and Saturday, man. And I'm telling you what, man, them were some of the best days of my life.
Since y'all said that.
Mine too, brother. Look, mine too. I mean.
And you mentioned Dyersburg. I am doing my best to try to get Alan Walker on here sometime. His family run the Peppermint Pond for years and years and years. So,
last time I heard, he moved out of Tennessee.
Yeah, I don't know exactly where he lives. I think maybe somewhere around Texas or somewhere.
I'm friends with him on Facebook and stuff. So
yeah, well, he's got some injuries that kind of keep him from doing a lot, but I am actively working on getting him to come on and.
Exactly, and he has so much footage of like that DCW stuff.
Yeah, for sure.
Man.
Which I know his mama does, Messenger or whatever does too. And things like, look, first time I ever went to DCW, with those who never quit, I'll make it. Alright, we got on Memphis TV, and it was our first time, like on live TV, because we were doing KW, that was on Wednesday nights tape, But, we were actually doing live, and it was DCW, like, And so I looked over in the locker and he said, what's that DTW stand for? Diaper Kentucky Worker. And he's like, what? And I was like, Diaper Kentucky Workers. You know, like, and he's like, no, you know, like, no, Diaper to wrestling. So I had a little sheet thing that had about like a rope. And I do like a little hunching thing, you know, blah, blah, blah. And we got in trouble. And that we got them kicked off TV for like 2 weeks. 2-3 weeks there. Because of the, but it was good TV, you know. But we were used to doing that KW stuff, you know.
Hey, it's hard to break that habit when you get used to being able to do it on pretty much every show. I caught myself many nights on reg shows. I'm in the ring just cussing and doing random shit that you never do at a normal show, you know.
Right. Right. And before you know it, you're like, oh. But hey, it's just.
Hey, you be like, fired from here.
Right.
Headed to the next one, baby.
There you go, man.
Hey, Hollywood, we're going to cut this a little short, man. We got another guest waiting in the lobby, man. We're going to come back and holler at you, get you back on the show, get all the audio details lined out, man.
I appreciate
And
it.
we enjoy talking to you for a little bit. But I got a surprise guest for you, Buster.
Hollywood, I appreciate you, brother. Thank you so much.
Hey, thank y'all. I love you guys. Hey, Mr.
Yes, sir.
Woods. Hey, Buster Hellraiser.
Love you, Hollywood. We'll talk to you, buddy. Looky there, we got the Kane Superstar.
Oh my God!
Now, say something about that little rinky-dink ring you talk about.
Johnny Dotson. I loved the last week. This past Saturday show, I think, was the total, from start to finish, the best show y'all have had to date. Only problem I got with that show, that damn ring, man. You got to get rid of that ring, dude. We have got to figure that out. I promise you, we've got to get rid of that ring. Or we got to put it on some blocks or some shit. We got to figure out what the fuck to do, because that's the only problem. And I ain't bullshitting you one bit. Last Saturday show, I think the whole show, start to finish, best show y'all put out to date. We seen enough talent. It wasn't just focused too hard on one certain group or one certain person. We got to see a lot of talent. We got to see the debut of Mark Southern. We know big things happening as Mark Southern showing up. Got the royalty. We got Buck Skinner. Now, I know damn well you don't want to fight Buck Skinner. I know. Tell the truth. He's unique, and he's a badass dude. You know what we need with Buck Skinner? Johnny, we need to know more about Buck Skinner. Take us to where he's from. Show us who he is. He's your guy. He is your guy. Do something with him. Push this motherfucker as far as he can go. But we need to learn about him.
Can Johnny fucking talk, Buster? Can Johnny say something?
He's like me, though. I know when he starts, we ain't going to get another word in. So
let me say this real quick. We do wrestle in Memphis. I do see a lot of cars on blocks, but we ain't going to have a wrestling ring on blocks, okay?
No, but hey, I'm one thing about me, I'm totally transparent. Buster's good to see you. Hellraiser's good to see you.
Yeah, man. Been a long time.
I listen. One thing about me, I don't try to pretend as if I know it all when it comes to, this aspect of wrestling, or know it all as far as being in the ring. Even though I've been doing it 26 years, but you always can learn. And the thing that I hate the most about our show, believe it or not, is the ring. You know what I mean?
Dude. I'm glad.
So I'm looking at trying to see how we can do it, but the way the studio is set up and the lighting is set up, I think it's going to be difficult to try to put a full-size ring inside of that studio. And you know what I'm trying to go for? I'm trying to go for the nostalgia aspect of TV wrestling. Mark came by. I told him, I was like, look, man, check it out. See what you think first. And then, we could go from there. But if he would tell you, I got a good locker room. We got a good locker room. And we just totally honest, and we try to be transparent about everything.
I'll tell you, dude, I think if you could get the ring 2 feet tall, 2 feet off the floor, 2 solid feet to the bottom of the board where you can see, I think you'd be fine. I'm glad you said that, because really, that's my biggest pet peeve with the show is the ring. Y'all, the studio look I love, man, and I'm gonna tell you this, y'all are catching some of them live studio moments, some of your corner shots, and some of the close-in shots. I seen this week the guys seem to pull back just a little bit where we get you wasn't cutting the guys off, cutting part of them off so we couldn't see what they were doing.
Right.
You are definitely capturing some of that old school live studio feel. We just gotta get the ring off the ground, man. It's simple as that. We gotta get the ring off the ground.
Well, we're gonna try. My other polls and stuff came in for the ring, so we can have a high boy and a low boy. I'm just afraid that if I put the ring at 36 inches off the ground, we won't have enough room, enough clearance at the top.
Yeah.
But like I said, we're new. I can say I'm blessed from the standpoint that I started the company in June. We signed a deal with CW30 in July. We debuted on TV in October, the first Saturday in October. And to where we are now, I think we're making strides. You know, I know we was getting knocked and people was talking about the production and this here and that there, but this is all new for all of us. Everybody I got has never done this before. And what better group to do it with when nobody knows anything and we can learn together.
Hey, practice makes perfect, man. You know how
Yes,
that
sir.
is. I think y'all have come a long way since you started. I'll be honest with you. The first few shows, the production and the continuity was just a little off, but over the past couple of months, I've seen the continuity come together a lot better. And like I said, I thought past Saturday's show was the best one, period, for me. If I had any other thing to tell you, like some of these matches, like the Buck Skinner Mike Reels match, I think it would have been better served to pull it back a few minutes. It wouldn't hurt Mike Reels to go out there and fly around the ring for Buck Skinner until your boys came.
Right.
You know what I mean? Till you sicked your boys on him. And that way we get more talent, and that way Buck Skinner ain't out there. Mike Reels is not a small dude, but he's not a big dude.
Right.
Not big like the guys you're going to send in on him. I think he could have went out there for 2.5 minutes, flew around the ring for Buck Skinner, and then you rang the bell and the boys hit, and I think it would have. I think it would have been a little more action, and you could have got maybe some more talent on the show. You know what I mean?
Well, I guess, you know, how I'm looking at it, which is everybody that we're using on our show, other than myself, has never really done TV.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And regardless of what some people may think, like I talk to a lot of guys around here locally, just because the 40 people that the casual wrestling fan that normally come to all the shows, that group of 40 people know who you are, you're not wrestling for those people. You're wrestling for the television. And what I was trying to do is make sure that I can give everybody a platform to show that these guys actually can wrestle. And I want these people to be able to identify with these individuals. Like, that's why they call Mike Reels Mr. Saturday Morning, because Mike Reels actually can wrestle.
Yeah, I like him. He's been on your pretty much since day one, if I'm thinking right. He's damn near been on every show.
Every show.
I like the Mr. Saturday Night when y'all debuted. I thought it fit him. I thought it worked. Hey, I'm gonna tell you something. I like the Savage Brotherhood. The Storm, dude. A few weeks ago, he put this fucking song out called "Little Pissant."
Right.
Dude, that right there is the kind. I shared it and I commented on it. Said this is what ought to be on the TV. Man, that dude's got a lot of personality. If he really sang that, which I'm pretty sure he did, he can sing pretty good. That's the kind of shit, man, you ought to be doing with guys like him too. Show us who they are, because that dude's got some charisma.
Right.
Brody Hawk's solid all the way around, but I didn't really know much about Big Daddy Storm until I seen that and seen him on the show. And dude, he's got talent, man. He's been around a long time. I got a lot of old matches that I have put on of him from early 2000s, mid 2000s.
Right.
But he's bigger now. He's different now.
Yeah.
I like where he's at now, dude.
Storm is, man, his spirit is just good. You know what I mean? He's just an overall good God. You know what I mean? And that's what we're trying to do at Bluff City. We're not trying to watch what nobody else is doing. We just want to make sure that our locker room, and Marcus here, our locker room, and a lot of people think that I'm the guy that cracks the whip. I try to make sure everybody that's on the roster be involved in the show and have a say-so when we have our production meeting, and we're like totally transparent. We talk about everything. If we say we're going to bring a guy in or whatever, I bring it to the boys, and the boys, we vote on it. If somebody knows something, put it out there. Let's talk about it. And that's how we move.
So Johnny, tell us your start, your career wise, how you started, and let's do a history lesson here, because you're up in Missouri, where a lot of people probably don't know about Johnny Dotson and what all he has done, and what he has done in the wrestling business, especially.
Wow, do we got time?
Oh, we got all night, baby.
Well, I started wrestling with Bill Superstars Dundee in 1997. I went to Bill Dundee's wrestling school in 97. I lived in Memphis, and we drove to McKenzie, Tennessee once a week. Me, Alan, and Derek King. We used to make that drive once a week. And then Derek had already was wrestling. Me and Alan started the exact same time. And so that's why we're so tight, because we rode up and down the roads together, our first 2-3 years in the business. Then Allen was able to get booked places. People didn't want to book me because they said I was too small, and so I had to go to Nashville. Even though I lived in Memphis, I had to go to Nashville and wrestle for Burt Prentice, Music City Wrestling at the time. And he used to call me Devon Delight. That was my name for some reason.
I won't even touch on that, because that's a Burt Prentice thing there, buddy.
Yeah. So after that, I was able to get a good following, and then I started feuding with a guy named Cassidy O'Reilly.
He's a good worker.
Out of Nashville. Yeah. We had good matches, and Buddy Wayne was like the special guest referee for our Nashville Fireground match. And then I seen Terry Golden. Terry Golden was there. And then that's when I ended up coming to KAW. I started working for KAW, and then Terry Golden called me Player Tyrone. That was the gimmick that I had.
Hey, let me break in there 1 second, Johnny. Do you know who that gimmick was originally offered to?
Yes, it was Poker Face. He was first.
Poker Face. Yes, He turned it down. He said, because I took him to TV. I took him to his first KAW TV, and I think I knew, but I didn't tell him what Golden was going to try to get him to do, because I knew Poker Face, and I knew this motherfucker probably wouldn't come if I told him.
See, but the good part about with me, I was bouncing at the strip club. So I was a bouncer even though I was that small, I could fight pretty good. So I bounced at Platinum Rose on 3rd Street. So it was easy for me to have girls with me because I knew them. So it just all worked together. And then Terry Golden went to the MCW deal. And then we started wrestling a lot of those guys and doing the Sam Town Casino stuff. Then I ended up getting a call to go to do something else with Burt. And when I got there, Arn Anderson was there, and Burt had the power plant deal. And so that's how I got connected with the power plant situation. So to the true story, it was me and Soul Taker. Me and Soul Taker was working together as a tag team up with Burt. And then one night we was in Columbia, Tennessee at the Grand Slam. I think that's what it was called. Arn Anderson and Terry Taylor came to me and was like, "Hey, kid, we want to keep you, but we want to send your friend home." And I was like, so they told Soul Taker that, they were sending him home. And he was like, "Man, you ready to go?" And I was like, they keeping me.
That sucks. It sucks to be in that situation at that time, man. Don't it, man?
So then they start sending me places, to do shows and do like dark matches and stuff like that. But then they called me to get ready to do Thunder. And they asked me who did I want to wrestle, and I brought Alan Steele. That's how Alan Steele got a whole lot of heat with Power Pro. Because at the time, Power Pro was WWF development.
That's right. Yeah.
You know what I mean? But when I called Alan, I called him. I signed my contract at a strip club on Lamar. A lot of people don't know that, but I signed my contract on a strip called Babe Showgirls on Lamar. And I called Alan and I was like, look, Alan, they asked me who I wanted to wrestle. And I said, because we always made a deal. If I go, he would try to get me. If he go, he'll try to pull me. That's how we try to do it. And so he was like, you're lying. I'm like, it's like 2:30 in the morning, maybe. And then Arn Anderson said, hand me the phone. And he said, Arn Anderson, kid, hey, I need you to be in Tupelo.
Wow.
And so they signed me and another guy named Steve Sharp, Alex Stevenson.
That's right.
We all got signed at the same time. Yep. So then the rest was history, man.
I first met Steve in Fayetteville for Bill Ash.
Okay.
He was the Atomic Dog then, is what he was doing. You know.
Yeah, that's right.
It was.
You know, well, I mean, we already had an Atomic Dog down here during
right.
the late 80s and
Osceola.
early 90s. Simon Langston, but at this time Steve was doing it. And that's first place I ever met Steve at. Steve's a hell of a worker. I like Steve. Big dude. I didn't know it, but he's an actor now. So
yeah, he's on a lot of sitcoms.
I seen that, dude. That's crazy, ain't it? That's like you're talking about where you sign your contract at. People think that shit's all in offices and like and boardrooms and shit, man.
No, it don't work like that. I promise you. I sit here and I laugh. Like even with me when I went and was doing my WWE tryouts and doing dark matches for them, it was just crazy how it happened because yet again, Arn Anderson said, and a lot of people don't know that nobody has ever stuck their neck out for me. Everywhere I've been, I got there on my own. Like Arn Anderson stuck his neck out for me to even get looked at with WWE. So they teamed me with Kid Cash. And me and Kid Cash was doing a thing every night with Elijah Burke and Dolph Ziggler. And so one day, and I tell this story all the time, Undertaker came up to me and he was like, hey, what's up, kid? He was like, man, you're very athletic. Good job, blah, blah, blah. He said, who trained you? I said, Bill Superstar Dundee. It was like dude turned into a rabid dog or something. He looked at me and said, don't you ever say that fucking name again if you want to work here. So I started laughing, right? And he said, I'm not fucking playing with you. He said, you'll be getting your shit, getting the fuck out of here.
Damn.
So I sneak off. I called Bill on my cell phone. I said, Bill, I told Undertaker you train me. He said, oh, my bad, kid. I should have told you. I used to sleep with his wife.
Oh, wow.
Bill's on the no-call list, man. No call, Bill.
So can I be honest? They never called me again.
Hey,
Thank you,
that
Bill.
Kind of shit. Well, that kind of shit sucks too, and it happens every day to people.
It happens, especially in the world of professional wrestling.
Yeah.
I mean, you get the right motherfucker who don't want you around, and he got the right spot and the right power. Your ass ain't there, and it's simple as that, you know.
Dude, I tell anybody there would never be a Kofi Kingston if there was not Johnny Dotson, because Triple H was like, kid, we got a gimmick we want you to do. You're gonna do a Jamaican gimmick. That's why when I came on Memphis TV, I had on Jamaican tights. Do anybody remember that?
I do remember that.
I had a Jamaican flag on my tights. And so then I ended up breaking my leg too. So that didn't help. I broke my leg at NWA Battle Zone up in Mississippi, in Jackson, Mississippi. And that didn't help. And so I was supposed to go to Puerto Rico for Dutch because Derek and them went, but they messed up, did something crazy or something. And they ended up mailing the belts back to Carlos Colon. And Dutch called me and asked me, did I want to go? But I ended up breaking my leg.
Was that Derek and Stan Lee?
Yes.
Dude, fuck Puerto Rico. I went there in '95. It ain't, hey, for a redheaded, fat fucking country boy, hot ass Puerto Rico ain't the place for my ass. I'll tell you that fucking now. That shit sucked, man. I'll be honest with you. Yeah, I ain't big on that. Fuck that. It's too hot. Send me to Canada or some motherfucking where, Alaska to wrestle.
Damn.
Send me somewhere where it's froze over all the fucking time, man.
Like today.
Yes, like today, man.
Yeah, all week. Yeah.
All week. We're supposed to get another round about 3 o'clock in the morning, so.
Wow. Yeah, I didn't even go to work today, so.
I don't know, man. We'll have to see how it all goes down.
I've been working from home all week.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, unfortunately, they make me go. But I had to go today. That's a plus.
Well, look, we got Mark Southern. We got the King, Johnny Dotson. Y'all on the same show. I mean, y'all got to be either in cahoots or y'all gonna be running into each other somewhere down the line. Give me some scoops, man. We on here. The world wants to know.
Well, I put it. Mark will be in a position to where he'll have a very dominant tag team. He'll be with. I dropped it.
Hour for one.
Right.
Well, there you go.
Yeah.
Hey, you got to tune in, baby. We're not gonna give shit away. We need ratings, baby. UPN 30, YouTube, Bluff City Wrestling. Hey, you got to watch this, baby.
Look, it's the one show that I do watch every single week. I don't watch it. I stream everything, so I don't get it till it comes out on YouTube. But it's the one show that I do watch every single week and try to keep up with constantly to see how it's evolving. You know, I'm watching every week, Johnny. Every week it comes on that ring stays short. Think about me on your ass right there. Point that damn ring, man.
So, I got to ask you, because I know you're going to be transparent.
Go
what
ahead.
do you think about the Kang superstar, Johnny Dotson?
Dude, I'll be honest with you. When you first hear it, there's so many people out here trying to do the King. I mean, you got Lawler, you got Derek, which we know Derek idolizes Lawler. He may not admit it, but we know it's true. And there's about 13 other Kings running around. I'm glad you went with the King. And it took me a couple of weeks, but it's growing on me, dude. I'll be honest with you. It's
He done
growing on
stole
me.
Lawler and Dundee's gimmick.
Look,
He got a hit out for him in Memphis.
The little bell, I dig the little bell, man. Only thing I think you need is a butler out there with you who rings the bell when you tell him, holds it on one of them pillars, set the bell on the pillar.
That's a great shit right there. That's a great idea.
That's good.
Hey, when you give him the signal, he starts ringing that shit and the dogs attack. Dude, I'll tell you what I told Mark. Look, I think I could get so much life and heat out of you. You remind me of the Kibbles and Bits commercial where the little dog has got the big dog and he's jumping over his back and the little dog's talking all the shit, but the big dog can't no other dogs get to him because of the big dog. Man, think about how much life is there with that, man.
Yes.
Man, I just see so much heat. I can see people paying money to see you get your ass kicked finally.
And that's the plan. And when I talked with Dundee, he laughed. When I say he laughed, he laughed. He said, if anybody can pull this off, you can. He said, because you can talk. He said, if anybody can pull this off, you can. Then he turned around and said this. And what I like about it, he said, nobody else will have the nuts to do it but you.
I like it, dude. Like I said, it took about probably 3 weeks or so to grow on me. When I first heard it, I thought, God damn, that shit's stupid. I ain't gonna lie. I thought, it's goddamn another King. And then after a couple of weeks, I watch it every week. The more I seen it, the more it growed on me. And I finally got it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I seen so much potential with the setup. Man, that's what I'm saying. You, Buck Skinner over here, you dominant fucking heel can't nobody get to. Everybody wants to, and everybody knows if this big babyface gets a hold of you, he gonna kill your ass, but he can't get to you because you always got a roadblock in his way.
That's it.
I'm telling you,
Hey,
I
one
like
of his
this Buck
roadblocks
Skinner
is on
dude,
the
Johnny.
chat right now, Buster.
Who is that?
That is Storm. He said, "What up, Kang?
What's going on, man?
We need to bring
Royalty
him
is in the house tonight."
Hey, bring him in live and have him sing Little Piss Ant. I'm telling you, dude, it sold me. I love that shit, dude. It's fucking awesome.
And that's the kind of things that we want to do. We want to bring back some of the old school Memphis stuff that we would do back in the days. You know what I mean? I'm gonna just say this, and I told Mark, I said, man, I don't do comedy. I don't do comedy. I hate a show that's comedy. You know what I mean? This is professional wrestling. We forget the entertainment aspect. We want to wrestle, and we want to do the things that what made us love wrestling growing up as kids. And it ain't hard. Even though I stay up all night writing stuff out, but it ain't hard.
Hey, Johnny. So let's take Bluff City into the future. What kind of vision you got? And hopefully, let's say a year from now, 5 years down the road, where do you want to be at?
I want to be able to rent a venue like Minglewood Hall, and we actually pack it out. I want to get us our own building and then convert that into our own television studio to where we can film whatever we want to film from there, and we can run a wrestling school from there. I want to syndicate the show, if not only syndicate it, but actually sell it to where it can be monetized and we actually make some good money off it. And I get it; it's going to take some time. We got a lot of kinks, and the main thing is appearance. When I watch the TV show, I feel like some of our guys don't look like they should. You know what I mean? In order for people to believe that you're a star and you're a wrestler, you have to look the part. By no means I'm trying to say that I'm Luke Ferringo back in the days. That's not what I'm saying. But you can wear things that complement you to still make you look like a wrestler. And you have to carry yourself that way in ring and out of the ring. And that's what a lot of people don't understand. They say I'm arrogant, I'm cocky, and this here. But if I don't believe I'm a star, who else will?
That's right. I've always been, that's one of the first things I was told and taught, that look, if you don't believe it, how do you expect them to believe it?
Yep.
I have to believe who I am. And if I can believe it, then I guarantee you they'll believe it. The people will believe it because they can feel your energy.
Yes.
They know when you walk out there whether you're pretending or you're who you are, you know. And I 100% agree with that, man.
Because when it comes to me, I was going to be the baby face, and Lou pulled me to the side. And in reality, if you have watched the show, I wasn't even wrestling on the show at first.
I know it.
Because I didn't want anybody to be like, oh, he's doing the show about himself and da-da-da-da, you know, the whole. And then it took Lou to pull me to the side and he was like, hey, Johnny, look, man, ain't nobody else on this show been on TV but you. The reason why people are watching the show is because they know that you're the CEO of the show. So you need to be on the show. Then he was like, I'm not trying to boost your head up, but you're one of the best workers on the show.
Yeah, these young guys working with you can teach them, man. You know, and that's what they need. And you know, I like it since you started working. The baby from babyface to heel turn was a little abrupt, but now that we're past that point, I think it was the right decision.
Yeah.
You know, I do. I think it was the right decision to swap you over because I just see a ton of life there, dude. I just do, man. And you working with all these different guys and young guys, that's like Poker Face working with these different guys.
Yes.
Brody working with these different guys. Storm's been around a long time.
Right.
He's got to have been around 20 years almost, if not maybe a little more.
And that's the thing. Everybody has a role to play. Like Storm, Brody, and V-Man, all those, they're over the locker room aspect. You know, we got to keep the guys' egos in check. You know, and then we also, when people do something messed up, we don't blast them. We try to help them. We'll get to the building sometimes before, like at 9:30, that's a call time. And before we actually go live, we
Not
get in the ring and work
901
out.
either.
What'd you say, Mark?
Not 901 either, Bubba.
Yeah, I run a tight. Is it fair to say I run a tight ship?
Yo, you run a very tight ship.
Yeah, but you got to, because that's how I was taught. When we came to Memphis TV, Lawler said be there at 8:30. Guess what time we was there? We was there at 8 o'clock. So my thing is, if we did that for him, because he had a television show, it's gonna be the same way with me.
Dude, I used to drive from West Helena every Saturday morning, and I'd be in the studio dressed by 7:30.
Exactly.
That's when the show didn't start till 11. Even Lawler didn't get there until 10.
Right.
I'm sitting there for 3 hours waiting on everybody just in the fucking studio dressed. You know, and finally the guys start trickling in. But to me, if you're on time, you're late. I've always been like that. If I'm not there already, then something's done fucking happened if I ain't there by bell time, or I ain't done let you know, hey, something happened, I'm gonna be a little late. I mean, something done happened if I ain't there early. It's just simple as that.
And see, and
it's
then
good
me
for
being
the guys.
And then me being a sergeant on the police department, I believe being late shows your character and your integrity. You know what I mean? You know, if somebody's, because the guys now don't believe that it's a blessing to be on TV. Nobody has to invest in you and want to put you. Some guys believe that they're doing me a favor. by
Yep.
being on TV, and they're
Yep.
not. I can put anybody in that spot.
That's right.
Or I can make Mark give him a whole half-hour segment if I wanted to. And that's what they don't understand. But that's because a lot of these young guys went and bought some kick pads and some tights, and nobody really taught them the business, and that's what they think it's about.
Shit, I learned the business the hard way. All the thing, most of the shit I learned because I made those mistakes, you know. And when you're young, though, you're green, you're hard headed. I mean,
It's too easy getting in business too.
it is too easy to get into business now, for damn sure. There ain't no doubt about that.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
it needs to be a lot easier to get the hell a lot of motherfuckers out of the business right now.
That's
I
right.
can tell you that.
But it's the boys' fault because anybody can go buy a ring, say they're gonna do a show, and gonna buy them, give them enough money for weed, alcohol, and cigarettes, and they're gonna go do the show.
And
That's
they
right.
okay with that. That's bullshit.
Yeah, and that's what's killing the business, man.
You got that right, man.
That's what I can say, and I give Derek King his props. When we was doing TV with Corey and Lawler, we were the only. Well, it was me, him, Brian, Christopher, of course, Dale, Kevin White. We were the only people allowed to be in the production meeting. And then it got to the point that Lawler be like, "Hey, go get with them and give them a finish." So he started giving me and Derek matches to give finishes to.
Well, he's
So
trusting y'all.
We watched him. I sit side by side and used to watch him write the show. The only difference between me and him now is he wrote the show the day he got there, that Saturday morning.
Yeah.
Me, I'm planning my show 3 and 4 weeks ahead.
But you
You
have
know?
to, man.
But
Gotta
then that's
keep
why I
them
be so
storylines
mad.
going.
And that's what makes me mad when the guys don't show up or they late, because I have all this stuff and I put all this time and effort in it. And then some guys will have the decency to call and be like, "Oh, I got to work today. I can't come." And then you got to try to figure it out on the fly.
They don't realize they live done screwed up 5 weeks worth of stuff by this one show, you know.
True that.
I mean, that is the truth right there. They don't realize when you start something, I mean, unless it's a real emergency, an accident, someone dies, something,
Right.
you need to have your ass there doing your job, because we can't further this story, we can't further this angle if we started here and then we got to skip a week because you took another show, or you just don't want to come this week, you know? I mean, there's a lot
you said the key word over there. You said job. A lot of these guys nowadays think it's not a fucking job, it's a hobby. Well, it ain't. You're running TV, get your ass there, do what you're told. And Johnny will tell you, I run my own fucking show, but guess what? I told him, I'm on your show, I do what you ask me to. And that's the bottom line.
He said, "Whatever you need me to do." That's what he said. Now, Mark can tell you, I'm like Donald Trump. I'll fire you in a second.
Hey, listen, I got to tell this funny story because last time I was in West Memphis, I think I had like 26 minutes to get to the fucking studio. So we were running late that day. So I did 90 from the bridge all the way to the fucking studio. Made it with 6 minutes to fucking spare. 2 guys come in later than me and they got fired.
Damn, you got there in the nick of time, man.
I did, man. I told my wife, I said, look, Johnny said don't be late. I said, I ain't going to get fired on my first day.
You know, I'll tell you this. Johnny hit one thing just a second ago. These guys don't realize how big of a privilege it is for them to be on TV, to get that opportunity. And here's the thing. A lot of them don't even realize that he's helping them more by letting them be on TV, giving them the opportunity to help themselves by getting over on TV. So when they go to house shows or take other bookings, then they can start charging a little money. You know, you can't charge no money when you're a nobody, but when you start getting a little notoriety, then you can start getting a little payoff, you know. And it's their, I mean, they need to realize that it benefits them 100%. It don't benefit him at all.
None.
It benefits them more to be on TV, on his show, than it does for him to have them on his show, because there's 1,000 other dudes that he could get to do this same spot. Some of them maybe even better. So, I mean,
Yeah,
if you got the spot, your ass better work for it. Keep it's all I'm saying. You know.
that's right.
And this is my only thing. If you work my TV show, right? All I ask is right now, because we're still fresh, don't take any bookings in Memphis. Because now what happens is Ricky Redneck might run a wrestling show right in Memphis, right? And he's only charging $5, and then I want to run a show and I'm charging $20, and he's making a profit off of the guys that I'm paying all the money for to put on TV.
That's right.
And a lot of the boys don't understand that.
And here's something else too. These guys, Johnny's got them on his TV. He's trying to turn them into somebody so they can go out and be bigger stars. But what good is it to Johnny when they go and work another show on the notoriety that he's building? Like me and you talked about. Say you had TV, he's got TV, Dustin's got TV, and y'all just all started sharing talent. Why do we need 3 TV shows? What differentiates Johnny's roster from this other roster when half of Johnny's guys are working these shows? You know, I mean, that's something else the guys don't understand. Used to, there wasn't a million places to work. You couldn't quit a promotion and go 5 miles down the road and go right to work.
Right.
You know, nowadays you ain't, even then at that point when you're starting out, you ain't making no fucking money anyway. But you had to work. There wasn't no promotions. You couldn't just quit a promotion, haul ass down the road, and be working 5 minutes later after you just quit or got fired. You know, you had to be loyal to an extent.
That's right. Territory days were dead by the time we come in. So,
right.
Yeah, you're exactly
right. Why does Johnny want to waste his TV time to help build these guys up for them to then take another show in Memphis and basically deteriorate what he's already doing?
Exactly.
Here's the thing. Here's a perfect example. Last week or 2 weeks ago, Premier Pro and SPW and EIW both ran the same night. 2 different sets of talents, but worked both shows. Okay, let me ask you this: if I'm paying you to come in, say I'm Premier Pro and I booked you and I'm paying you to come in, I give you whatever we agree on. You know you're gonna get your money. You're there for the show, but then you book yourself on this other show, 10 miles apart. You're talking Trenton and Dyer. I mean, what, 20 minutes away from each other?
Right.
You become less valuable to each show by working both shows. I don't want you. If you was to call me and say, well, look, I may be a little late. I'm doing this double shot. I'm over here at EIW tonight. Well, I'm going to tell you then. I said, look, man, you're not as big a draw for me if you're over there too. Right. You know, on the same night, I had you booked. You're over here for me. You know, if you're on both shows, you're less of a draw to either company when in that situation. And why do I want to pay you and have you come on in when you just worked right up the road and them tickets were $5 less than what we're asking people here?
$5 less. Hell, they probably $5 altogether.
Well, I'm saying that's been on my mind since that happened. I thought, you know, you're less valuable to either show when you're on both shows and they're 10 miles apart.
And that's my issue too with like a lot of guys that leave Dustin, they want to come to me, right? And
are you shouting me out? You calling me out? Damn.
No, you excluded. But
ship jumper. He's a ship jumper.
I don't want to have that deal to where like WCW and WWE had at one point. You leave WWE, you go to WCW. You leave WCW, you go to WWE. And then my thing is, I had a talent to call me one day and was like, I'm leaving, you know, from working for Dustin. But Dustin done killed you off. What can I do with you?
There you go.
So I'm going to bring you in so you can beat everybody, but you was losing the women over there? No.
Exactly.
No, that's not going to happen.
Well, I don't think they think about it. I think most of the guys now, a lot of them think about it in a make-believe scenario. They look at it as it's all pretend, period. And I never looked at it that way. Wasn't brought in the business that way. It was a business and it was a sport too. I mean, you know, you don't
means a lot more to us.
Yes.
You know, don't devalue yourself. Here's a prime example. John Moxley. When he left the WWE, what did he give him? 6 months notice? And he was the most over person. People were letting on. He told them, look, motherfuckers, I'm not signing back with you. I'm leaving.
Right.
Then his contract run out and he did the jailbreak video. Over. I mean, this dude, he's not my favorite in-ring worker, but he was the most over guy in wrestling at that fucking point. For that time, he was the biggest star around. What's the first thing he does and Tony Khan lets him do before he shows up on AEW? He goes in every fucking barn, horse arena around the fucking country in front of 300 or 400 people, devaluing himself. It's on YouTube. Here's the thing, it'd be different if these were just untelevised, unfilmed shows, and he just went there to have fun or pick up some money. But these shows get out on YouTube, and John Moxley's done worked 40 matches in death matches and all kind of dumb shit before he ever debuts on your TV, and you're already paying him. He's already doing this on your money.
Yep.
That don't make no sense. If I was Tony Khan, I'd have told his ass immediately, no more fucking shows. I wouldn't have let him work, period, nowhere until he debuted on my show anyway.
Right.
I'd have told him, I said, take your old lady on a vacation on my dime. Don't fucking wrestle no matches. Go be unseen until it's time to debut. But he didn't. He was seen all over YouTube and match after match. And by the end, do I give a shit? It's less valuable to AEW by him doing that. And he ain't never recovered. The dude had momentum. He killed all of his momentum when he done that.
Yes.
Time he showed up in AEW, yeah, he got a pop, but he wasn't the biggest thing in wrestling then.
No,
it was already
that's what
past.
I like about you. You know what I mean? Because you think of wrestling the way I think of wrestling, the way I see it. Like, there's no way, and make sure I'm gonna say this. I'm not knocking somebody else what they do, but I'm not gonna bring in Nick Aldis and bring in John Moxley to Bluff City Wrestling and they wrestle each other. They're gonna put one of my guys over in order to build their stock because y'all leaving.
That's right.
And plus, I'm paying you.
That's right.
I'm paying you to help get my guys to the next level. You know what I mean? And that's why I made a promise to the boys that I'm not gonna bring in no C-list celebrities. I'm not bringing in no guys who got one foot in the grave and the other on the banana peel just because they had a name in 1980.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because they're not drawing. The younger people don't know them. And they could care less.
Yeah, you're right about that, man. I'd say anybody, nowadays, anybody 30 or under, they don't even know wrestling the same way we know it. You know?
They don't know. Look, they don't. And I hate to say this, and I love Ricky and Robert. I love them. Man, my son is 25 years old. He don't even know who the Rock and Roll Express is.
Yeah.
Right? My brother's 32. They don't even know who the Rock and Roll Express is. All they know is DX. That's their age bracket. You know what I mean?
And I'll be honest with you, you're lucky if hell, most of them nowadays don't even, they just know the aura of DX. And here's the thing, DX gets all this fucking credit, but DX, without NWO, there would have been no DX.
No.
I mean, NWO was first, and then DX spawned from that.
Is it fair to say that the NWO was over more than DX?
Dude, I mean, we got to tell the truth. The NWO was probably the hottest thing, period.
Exactly.
Other than Stone Cold, and probably hotter than Stone Cold, maybe even. I mean, the NWO was the shit. You can't deny it. Till they got bloated, till they overbloated themselves. But
yeah, they started doing NWA Black and White, Wolfpack.
Yeah,
that was the
got out of
stupidest
hand.
thing ever, man.
That's right. All started with this, though, fellas.
Hey, dude, I'm with you on that one, man.
Me too.
Hey, I'm a firm Horseman believer, dude.
That's right, baby. The original Horseman. Now, they got carried away with that shit, too, man. They started adding people that they didn't need to add, too.
Mongo McMichael should have never made the cut.
No.
Oh, God.
Jeff Jarrett.
Never should have made the cut.
Lex Luger.
Never should have made the cut.
I think after Barry Windham, they were pretty well done.
That's
that was
right.
the last.
That's right.
Well,
Yeah.
I give him one more that was pretty good with them too, though. I like Benoit with them.
I like Benoit with anything to do with wrestling, man.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm sorry.
Me too. We talk about wrestling, not his personal life.
He was a fucking machine, man. Yeah. I mean, it's just simple as that. I mean, that's just all I can say about that dude. They can, I mean, you can't take away what he did on the field. It's kind of like OJ. He did what he did, maybe, but you still can't take away what he did on the fucking football field.
That's right, man.
I mean, it's simple as that, you know. He may not make it in the Hall of Fame, but he deserves to be there on wrestling merits. It's simple as that.
Well, let me go there then. That's why Bill Dundee is not in the Hall of Fame.
And if there's one motherfucker around here that deserves to be in the Hall of Fame, every wrestling Hall of Fame there ever is, it's Bill Dundee, man.
Dude, when you sit back and listen to Stone Cold Steve Austin talk about him, you listen to how you hear a lot of people talk about how he used to book the NWA back in the days. Bill Dundee has that mind for wrestling. When he was a babyface, he was a babyface. When he was a heel, he was a heel. That's why I chose him to train me. I needed somebody my height that could teach me how to work. That's how I looked at it.
No, I get it, man. I get it.
Hey, and he was a hell of a booker, too, man. Look what he did for the Rock and Roll Express and Bill Watts territory. Every time you say a Midnight Express, Rock and Roll Express, you can credit Bill Dundee for that shit, man.
Hey, he's got to be right there with Jerry Jarrett, Pat Patterson, Jerry Lawler, right there with all these guys, Bill Watts, who are renowned for their booking, you know. I mean, Bill Dundee, look, I feel bad that when I was around Bill Dundee all the time, you know, we didn't have YouTube or nothing then. And it ain't like Bill Dundee tells you all this stuff that you were too young to know about, you know, and then YouTube comes out, and I see stuff about Bill Dundee all the time, man, and I think, man, I think, man, I tell that dude right now, man, fucking, you are one of the greatest. You deserve to be in the hall, any wrestling Hall of Fame there is. Look, Memphis couldn't have been Memphis without Jerry Lawler. Couldn't have been Jerry Lawler as good without Bill Dundee there.
No, sir. I will. And here's the thing that I will say about Lawler as well. He always give like Terry Funk their credit. He always give like Austin Idol and Handsome Jimmy and this that. But when you talk about Memphis wrestling, the two names and the two biggest stars would be Jerry Lawler and Bill Dundee. When Jerry Lawler left and went wherever he went, Bill Dundee and Buddy Landell carried that show.
Yeah, man. Bill gets my respect 100%, dude.
Last sellout was Bill and Buddy.
Yep.
And Dutch and Jerry.
What was that?
So, you know, we were talking earlier about hoping to get you a big building and all that. And I was sitting back watching a Star Wars World Class today, and I thought, man, you know, all these younger guys don't have the historical building to wrestle in, like the Mid-South Coliseum, the Sportatorium in Dallas, Texas, or the Omni in Atlanta, GA. And that's what we need, man. We need a building to have wrestling in that means something. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like my goal when I started, it wasn't to make it to WWE. It was to make it to the Mid-South Coliseum on a Monday night.
Yes,
or be on Channel 5 on a Saturday morning. Well, I didn't quite get to Channel 5, but I got to Channel 30 by God.
Better late than never, man. You know
That's
what
right,
I mean?
baby. I'm a late bloomer.
And if anybody that broke in this wrestling business, especially in the Mid-South area, that was my goal. My goal was to get to the Mid-South Coliseum main event, and that's why I want to go back, and I'm gonna go ahead and throw this out there. We got the Bluff City Wrestling heavyweight title. We have the Bluff City Wrestling television title. Man, something just fell in my mind. Was like, hey, Johnny, look, man, you need to bring back the Southern heavyweight title. You got TV, why not bring it back? I know there's several replicas of that belt around, but it doesn't matter what the belt actually looks like. What matters is the name of the belt. And Memphis is synonymous for the Southern heavyweight title. Dustin don't use it, and I'm not using it. To me, that's a disgrace to the wrestling industry in Memphis, especially on TV. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to dig up a Southern heavyweight title. and the unified world heavyweight title. Nobody used that. Nobody used that belt back in the days. So guess what? I'm gonna bring all the old stuff back and make it our own.
Hey, I love the idea about the Southern title. You just got to give it credibility. That's the biggest problem. You know, it's been rehashed so many times, and every single time somebody new does it, it really gets less and less credible, you know.
Yeah.
Bring it back, make it mean something again. Like you said, the belt, it don't matter what the belt looks like. It's more about what it means.
Yeah.
You know,
I think what's going to help that Southern title mean something. It's going to be on Blood City Wrestling, which is in Memphis, Tennessee.
Exactly.
Yeah, you might have all these other companies that have a Southern title, but guess what? They're not on Memphis TV.
yeah. Yeah, I'm all for that, dude. I'm all, yeah, just make it mean something. Make the belt mean something, you know.
Yeah, and that's my plan. And I say again, I'm not knocking the other companies that's on Channel 30. I'm not knocking it. But what I'm saying is, and I say this, and I don't want to sound like I'm knocking them, but I guess I would be a little bit. But the owner of that company was merely an extra when he wrestled on Memphis TV here. Regardless, nobody wants to say it what it is. That was the truth. He was an extra. He didn't have the main. He wasn't the main figure or have his own segment the way that me and Derek did. You know what I mean? And so a lot of stuff that he does is out of bitterness because he did not get that opportunity that we got. Does that make sense?
It does, man. It does.
And that's why, and the same way with the posse. The posse didn't get the notoriety that we did on TV, so that's why they're doing what they're doing there. I'm not do what you do. Yeah. But my thing is, it has to make sense. Wrestling has to make sense. And you can't go out and just create a storyline or make it comical and think that it's funny to everybody. That's It's not. So I wanted to be back a sport. I wanted to be number one contenders. I wanted to be the whole nine like it used to be back in the day. And that's my plan. I think it'll work.
Tell us what's going on this weekend, Johnny.
Well, we got at 596 Sandridge, right there in Memphis, Tennessee, right off Summer Avenue. Our television taping is absolutely free. Absolutely free.
Free studio wrestling, baby. That's throwing it back right there.
Yep, absolutely free. And we have 2 shows, and man, it's going down. So anybody that want to come, feel free. We gotta do it to capacity. Because I remember the last time we did it on Henry Street. I ain't tell you this. They called code enforcement.
I thought we go had to call them a couple weeks ago, man. We had that thing full.
That's a good thing in a way, you know, but you can't get in trouble. You can't get thrown off a TV or out your building, man, you know.
Right. So that's why we make sure we got to do it to capacity. We don't want to, you know, violate any fire hazards and any of that kind of stuff. But, man, we're excited about it. I consider myself lucky. I consider myself blessed to have guys like Mark and Poker and Vicky and Big Lou, all of us, man. We really just work together, man. It's really a big family, like for real. So I know a lot of people say that, but that's what we are.
You know, you say that, and people don't realize when you find one thing I can say, the KAW dressing room.
Yes.
Look, we didn't always get along with each other. But we all were a family, man. There was one point when KAW had the best crew, period, in Memphis.
Yep.
Simple as that. But we were all a family. We all had done work. We all could work with each other no matter what. We'd all worked around each other and with each other so much we kind of all already had little built-in things if we needed to we could play off of. I mean, there's nothing like being in a dressing room where everybody's goal is to make the fucking show the very best it can be, man. It's a feeling like no other, dude. Everybody says wrestling, it's a single sport in a sense that if you're a single wrestler, you're in there by yourself, but you're really not. You're working together. You got your opponent there, and it ain't even just that. Everybody in the dressing room, we're like a team. You know, I mean, I hate to say it this way, but I mean, we're like a football team. You know, we don't always get along, but we always look out for each other. We all have the same goal of doing what's very best for the show. I love a dressing room like that, man. There's no better place to be in than in a wrestling dressing room who has that atmosphere and feeling about it, man.
And that's why, like, I wrestled this young Austin kid on television this week, and I never met him before. Really don't know anything about him. But why would I put the kid on TV and just eat him up? To where you never know what he could possibly become. You know what I mean?
Hey, dude, he's one of Mark's guys. He's a good kid, dude. He wrestles in Missouri. He really gets around. I seen he had a tryout for NWA.
Morton's.
Yes.
Ricky Morton's. Hey, this kid, I'm gonna tell you how dedicated he is. All right, so we did Somerville on Saturday afternoon. He drove to Grubbs, Arkansas, did that show on Saturday night, drove all the way to West Virginia for his tryout the next morning with Ricky Morton. That right there is dedication, getting yourself. That kid's going to go somewhere. I'm going to tell you right now, he is full of talent, man.
And guess what? His attitude is amazing.
It's great. Yes. It's great. Easy.
When I tell you I'm going to push that kid to the moon,
you better.
I'm going to push that kid to the moon.
I'll tell you, he could be your top baby face in a minute, man. He can sell some pictures, and man.
There was a split second there during y'all's match. I thought you might be gonna have Buck Skinner or someone come out and distract you and let him roll you up and get a quick 1, 2, 3 on you. I mean, I like the match. It worked good, and he's the kind of kid that you do want to. He's a perfect white meat baby face, you know.
Yeah.
I mean, he is. His shit looks good. His gear looks good. He's a good-looking kid.
That's right.
What I like is his selling
Works
ability.
Good. That's right.
A baby face got to be able to sell.
Yes.
Who trained him?
He comes out of the Harley Race School of Wrestling, man.
Oh yeah. Yeah. It's another kid that I met came from out of there. I think he worked on Dustin's show too. I can't think of his name though. Got a beard, kind of short. When I get his name, I'll tell you who he is. But yeah, Espinoza or something like that.
Brandon Espinoza.
Did
he come out of Harley Race too?
Probably so. He's a Missouri guy too. See, all Missouri's loaded with talent, Johnny. I'm just telling you.
Well, bring some of them in. Tell them I said come see me.
I have, baby. I have. I brought myself in. I brought Austin in. You never know who's coming next. I might have a big guy coming in next with me. You know what I'm saying?
Bring him in.
He's coming, baby. I'm telling you.
One thing about me, I want to do something that a lot of us didn't have, and that's the opportunity just to be seen. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You know, because if you wasn't blowing y'all gonna make me. If you wasn't blowing the right person, or if you wasn't being a stooge for the right person, you didn't get a chance. You know, and then if you could work pretty good and you had somebody who was in that spot that they loved, they would try to tone you down so you don't make them look bad.
Don't take their heat, baby.
Oh, yeah. That glass ceiling is definitely real.
Yes.
You know, it's definitely there. Dude, I think you keep doing what you're doing. Like I said, I've seen the progression in the show from start to where it is now, and I 100% think that the last Saturdays was for me, the best show, period, y'all have had to date. Production, the camera shots, get rid of the fucking ring. Other than that, good shit, man. I'll say that.
Hey,
go ahead.
He's done good since episode 1. You can tell the progression, man.
Yeah, man.
And that's the thing that Bill Dundee told me. He said every week it has to grow. It has to get better every week. He's like, don't expect to catch up with Dustin and you ain't been running as long as he has. And then Bill told me, he was like, at least you didn't have to use somebody else's material and somebody else's product to get you going. You actually using your own stuff.
You know, I seen where you said something about that on maybe a Facebook interview or maybe another podcast, and I'd forgot about that when that show first started, that, you know, they promoted it as Watch Memphis Wrestling debut and such, and then you go there to watch it, and it's the other championship wrestling for Hollywood stuff.
Right.
you know, that immediately turned me off, and I didn't watch another episode of it.
Me
And
either.
that's how he gained his following. He tapped in with them, and on his social media page on YouTube, the reason why he have all of those subscribers is not really his subscribers. Those are because a lot of those folks subscribe to his channel because of the Hollywood stuff.
I mean, you can't deny he used that shit to vehicle his shit right on up the pole.
Yes,
but
Smart
it did.
Business there. Oh.
Yeah, I mean, you can't deny that the boy has done good. I like Dustin. You know, I can't say nothing. I don't know him really personally, but what I do know of him, I've been around him a few times. I like the guy, and you can't look. Everybody says a lot of heat about how he brings these stars in, but the fact is, if it works for him, and he's able to make money with it, then that's that. I mean, more power to him. If it works for him, then you can't fault
I would say this.
plan.
Me and Dustin, if you would notice, when he first started doing his shows, he put me and Alan in the position to help get his show off the ground, right? I would say I have no issue with Dustin as a person. My issue with Dustin is as a businessman. You know what I mean? Like a lot of things that he did as far as having people to think that the Grizzly was associated with the wrestling show and it wasn't. You know what I mean? And having people thinking one thing and it was something else. You know, that was my whole thing. See, a lot of people don't know I helped fund that show.
Well, see, I always thought that he had the TV job, like doing the basketball and stuff. And from what I could tell, it looked like that he finagled that into getting his TV show. You know,
he was an employee at CW, but he's no longer an employee at CW. He don't work for the Grizzly. I hate to say it, he's a glorified cheerleader. He makes $75, and they hire people to do that all the time. You know what I mean? I'm not hating on him, but it's just a point of, and some people are good with perception, and I guess that's smart. I guess sometimes it is a shrewd business move to sell people a dream to get them to believe in what you're doing.
Hey, Vince McMahon did it. And
yeah,
look how big his dream became. I mean, that's just the honest truth. I mean, truth be told, Vince was about money more than anything else. Wrestling was just his vehicle to get there, you know.
Yeah. And I just want to be transparent. I believe that you can do good business and still be honest. That's just me.
Dude.
All right, guys, we've been going about an hour and 30 minutes, man. We got to wrap this thing up, man. Johnny, we're going to bring you back on, man, for episode 2. I will see you Saturday, man, all right? Thanks for joining us,
Good to see
Johnny.
you, Hellraiser.
Good to see you, man. Great talking to you, dude. I enjoyed the hell out of this.
All right, man. I'll see y'all again.
All right, brother. You take it easy. All
Buster,
right,
man, good episode tonight, brother.
I thought so, too, man. Check out my background, man.
Now, you did good, man.
Old country boy, don't know nothing about computers, had to get that. I've been working on that damn green. Look, I had that shit set all up last week, and then you hit me at the last minute and said, "Man, we gonna rain check today." I've been all day I had the whole background and everything set up, man.
All right, hey, we're going to wrap it up. That's the end of this podcast. That is Buster H.R. Johnson. I am Mark Southern. We'll see you again next week on No Mask, Buster Uncovered.
Peace.